welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Medzi, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be covering is recapping the American League games from yesterday. After that, we'll be recapping the National League games. Then we'll be going to some other baseball news, including Josh Young getting injured for the Texas Rangers and Mike Clevinger re-signing with the Chicago White Sox. Now, before we do that, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get run in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. Really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot. So thank you so much for that, and let's get straight into the show today. All right, so the first topic we'll be talking about is, like most days, recapping games from yesterday, and we'll be starting with the American League, and let's get straight into it. So the first game I'll be going to is an interleague game, but as I've said in the past, I choose interleague games for which league to talk about in the segment by who won. So this was a Mets-Tigers game, and the Tigers won, so let's talk about it. Not a very exciting game until the 10th. We had Sean Manaea in his Mets debut, pitched really, really well. 6 innings, only giving up 1 hit, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Was really, really strong in his Mets debut. He's a guy they're really going to look forward to being a big part of their rotation this year, especially now with the injury of Senga, but came over in a big signing from the Giants and done really, really well so far. Had 5 no-hit innings to start, so really could not ask for any better debut for him. So it was scoreless until extra innings at the top of the 10th. The Tigers were up. Colt Keith reached on a fielding error by second baseman Joey Wendell. Spencer Torkelson scored, and Parker Meadows then went to second. So I was actually at the Mets game from yesterday, and it was not fun, I'll tell you that. So the Joey Wendell error was not good at all. It was very, very bad. It was clearly an error. The guy's known for his glove, so I don't know what he was doing there. After that, in the top of the 10th, Javi Baez hit a sacrifice fly to Brandon Nimmo, scoring Parker Meadows, making it 2-0 Detroit. Baez was getting booed all game in every single at-bat every time he tried fielding the ball well, or he was just around the ball. You know, he left on a pretty sour note to most Mets fans after the thumbs down incident. I don't personally have any ill feelings towards him, but I know a lot of Mets fans do. So he was booed all the time during the game yesterday, and I'm assuming it was nice for him to score a run for the Tigers and get an RBI against the fan base that was booing him all game. After that, the big blow came. Carson Kelly's hitting a 3-run homer in the top of the 10th, making it 5-0 with the Tigers, which just killed any life the Mets would have and got them to win the game 5-0. So another disappointing game for the Mets, starting the season 0-4, the first time since 2005. Just really inexcusable at this point. You cannot start the season 0-5. Now, 0-4, not 0-5. So there are some things to be hopeful about with the Mets. You still don't have JD Martinez. The pitching has looked really, really strong, but the bats need to step up. If the guys like Alonso and Lindor aren't hitting well, no one's going to hit well. So I think the hitting has to step up. The pitching's done really well so far, and we'll see what happens when JD Martinez comes up. We'll see what happens as the season goes on, but not a great start to the season for the Mets right now. Tigers are now 4-0 to start the season, which great for them. I mean, I think this was the year they're finally trying to be competitive, and it's worked out so far. They've been really well, so good for them, and I like their young team. I have them finishing second in the AL Central, so really nice job by them. After that, we got the biggest game of the day, of yesterday, which everyone was talking about, of course, and that was, you already know, Astros Blue Jays. I think we all know why it was being talked about, but we'll go over the game, the scoring anyways. In the bottom of the first, Kyle Tucker hit a 2-run home run to score Jose Altuve, making it 2-0. Then Yainer Diaz followed that up in the same inning with a solo home run himself, making it 3-0. After that, Jeremy Pena hit a home run, making it 4-0. Jake Meyers hit a RBI single, making it 5-0 Astros in the bottom of the fourth. After that, Jeremy Pena hit another RBI in the bottom of the sixth, hitting a single to center field, scoring Jose Altuve and Chas McCormick. Kyle Tucker then hit another home run to make it 9-0 in the bottom of the seventh, and Yainer Diaz did the same to make it 10-0. So a great hitting day by the Astros there. Really blew up Bowden Francis. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 home runs allowed, 11.81 ERA. Not a great start for him, but I think the start many people were focusing on more was the Astros starting pitcher there, Ronel Blanco. A 30-year-old who only made his MLB debut at 28 years old, really is just a random guy, and he had a complete game no-hitter. A no-hitter in today's day and age that was by himself, no other pitchers. Just a really incredible story. The earliest no-hitter in baseball for a season, the 5th game of the season, of course. So, yeah, just a really incredible story all around. Really happy for this guy, and the Astros getting swept at home by the Yankees. They really needed some momentum, and I think this is the perfect thing to get them going. So just a great job by the Astros to hit well, and then also, of course, have a no-hitter. So really just a great job by the Astros here all together yesterday. Just really couldn't ask for more. So I'm glad they are getting momentum going, and I think you want to see that going into the season now after the rough start versus the Yankees. After that now, we are going to be talking about Royals-Orioles. So this was actually a pretty nice game. In the top of the third, Bobby Witt Jr. hit his second home run of the year, making it 1-0 Kansas City to get the lead on early. After that, in the same inning, Salvador Perez hit a 2-run homer to score Vinny Pasquantino, making it 3-0 Baltimore early. 3-0 Kansas City early, I should say, sorry. After that, in the bottom of the fourth, the Orioles started to fight back a little. Anthony Santander hit an RBI single, scoring Adley Rutschman. Then Ryan Mountcastle homered and tied up the game 3-3. Bottom of the eighth now, Ryan Mountcastle hit another RBI, scoring Gunnar Henderson with an RBI single, making it 4-3 Baltimore. Michael Garcia in the top of the ninth hit a sacrifice fly to Anthony Santander, they tying the game up 4-4. And in the bottom of the ninth, Jordan Westerberg hit a walk-off home run, making it 6-4 Baltimore, capping off a great game for this young Orioles team that is looking to do more damage like last year. So a really great job by the Orioles for fighting back and coming back from an early deficit and winning the game on a walk-off with one of their younger players in Jordan Westerberg. Really nice job. Dean Kramer went 5 1/3 for them, gave up 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs, but also only a walk. So an okay start by him. Definitely could have been better, but 3 earned runs over 5 1/3 could have been worse. The 2 home runs is something to worry about, but only 1 walk is good. I think you need to strike out a little more people as well, but overall it was still okay. Craig Kimball's first appearance for the Baltimore Orioles was a blown save, which is not great, but it is 2024. I don't really know how competitive Craig Kimball was going to be for a team. After that, we had the Royals. Michael Wacha in his Royals debut went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 5. An okay start for him. I think he's only going to get better with this Royals team. I think he's a really great pitcher and a really great signing by the Royals in general. So, overall, not too worried about him. It was also a fine outing. So, good job by him and good job for the Royals' new additions to come through. Even though they didn't win, they still had a nice game there. After that, now we'll be talking about Angels-Marlins. So for this game, we're going to start off with the bottom of the first. Jake Burger hit an RBI single to Mickey Moniak, scoring Luis Arias. And in the same inning, Jazz Chisholm hit an RBI single to score Josh Bell and move Jake Burger to second. Then Nick Gordon, the newest Marlin, hit an RBI double, scoring Jake Burger and Jazz Chisholm, moving Jesus Sanchez to third, making it 4-0 Marlins, coming out strong out of the gate here. Really blowing up the Angels starting pitcher here. But Angels started to fight back a little. Top of the second, Aaron Hicks hit an RBI groundout, making it 4-1. Then Mike Trout hit a long home run, top 4. Apparently went 473 feet, which is pretty incredible. Mike Trout having a bounce-back season would be great for baseball and great for fans, especially me, fans of my age who grew up watching him. You always love Mike Trout. Always want to see him do well. Top of the sixth now, Nolan Shanuel hit a home run as well, making it 4-3 Miami. They're fighting back. And Mike Trout hit another home run, his third of the season, tying the game up, making it 4-4. A really, really strong start to the season for Mike Trout. You'd love to see it. Then, top of the eighth, Taylor Ward grounded out sharply, getting an RBI for him, scoring a Angels run, making it 5-4. And the ninth, Joe Adell gave an insurance run to make it 6-4, and Mike Trout was up batting, and the pitcher balked, and Joe Adell scored, so making a 7-4 Angels. So a really strong outing by the Angels team to come back after a strong first inning by the Marlins. Really nice job for them not to give up, keep going, and I think it's a really good sign for them. Max Meyer in his MLB debut gave up 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a homer over 5 innings. Not a horrible outing, but definitely could have been better. So it's encouraging for the young guy. I will say, by the way, I made a mistake. It is not his MLB debut. It's his debut for this year. I meant to say that, sorry. But yeah, still a really young pitcher, Max Meyer, a guy I think a lot of people are very high on, and I would agree. Third overall pick for a reason. So this is a guy I'm definitely watching over the next few years, especially being on this Marlins team that really knows how to develop pitchers. So yeah, going to be interested to watch him and see how he goes forward. After that, the Angels, Chase Silsleth, he went 3 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 4 runs, 5 strikeouts. So not a great outing, but might have gotten unlucky with that error before. So yeah, I still think he might have a strong season with them. I still think he's a good pitcher, so we'll see how he goes off of this now in the future. Next, we had Rangers-Rays. In the top of the first, Josh Young hit his second home run of the season, making it 3-0 Texas. Top 6, Josh Young then hit an RBI single, making it 4-0 Texas. He then stole second base, which caused Evan Carter to score from a throwing error from catcher Rene Pinto. Jared Walsh scored to make it 6-0 in the top of the 6th. He's RBI single, to make it 6-0 Texas in the top of the 6th. An amazing game for Josh Young. Really, really strong, which makes the news I'm going to talk about later in the show more unfortunate. Richie Palacios then hit his first home run as a Tampa Bay Ray, making it 6-1. Jose Siri then hit a 2-run homer, making it 6-3. Looked like the Rays might be coming back a little, but then Adolis Garcia put the hammer down, hitting a solo home run, his third of the season, making it 7-0 Texas. Then he got hit by a pitch, scoring a run, making it 8-3. Then Josh Smith walked, scoring, which then scored Corey Seager to make it 9-3 Texas. So a really strong game by Texas to beat a good Rays team. Obviously, the more unfortunate news was Josh Young, their starting third baseman, is going to be out for a little while with a fractured wrist. I will be after getting hit by a pitch. That will be a segment on its own, which I'll be talking about, so I'm not going to go too deeply into that. But yeah, a really bad blow for the Rangers there. Next, we had Red Sox Athletics. So for this game, we first had in the top of the first, Tristan Casas hitting an RBI single, scoring Jarren Duran. Then Sedena Rafaela hit a sacrifice fly, scoring Masataka Yoshida. Then a throwing error by right fielder Lawrence Butler scored a run for the Red Sox, making it 3-0. Emmanuel Valdez then scored from another throwing error, this time by the first baseman Ryan Noda. Sedena Rafaela hit another sacrifice fly to make it 5-0. Jarren Duran hit an RBI single to make it 6-0. Trevor Story hit an RBI double to make it 8-0. And Masataka Yoshida grounded to a force out, scoring a run, making it 9-0 Boston. No surprise here. Oakland's really, really awful. I mean, there's really nothing else to say here. No surprise that the Red Sox won like they did. They also sent down one of their better players in Esteury Ruiz, the A's did, for some reason. That was really strange. I want to talk about it today, but I don't have time, so I wanted to mention it here. So that was another strange move by them. Joe Boyle, who a lot of people were predicting to have a really strong season with the A's, did not have a great start. 2 2/3 innings. He went 7 earned runs, 4 walks, a 23.63 ERA. Not good at all. Kyle Muller was really strong in relief, though, going 5 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 earned run and 6 strikeouts. So a really nice job by him. Maybe a guy the A's can look to as a future. For the Red Sox, Tanner Houck had a really, really strong outing. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts, no walks. Yes, it is against the A's, but still, any outing like that you can always build off of. So a really strong start there by Tanner Houck. So something to be encouraged about if you are a Red Sox fan. After that, we had Guardians-Mariners. In the bottom of the second, Ty France hit an RBI single, making it 1-0 Seattle. Then Dominic Canzone hit a 3-run homer in the same inning, bottom of the second, to make it 4-0 Seattle. So a great start by them. But then Cleveland started to come back. Stephen Kwan hit an RBI, scoring Ramon Laureano, making it 4-1. Andres Jimenez then hit a sacrifice fly, making it 4-2. Luis Arias then in the bottom of the fifth scored some insurance for Seattle, making it 5-2 after walking with the bases loaded. Tyler Freeman hit a home run to make it 5-3, and Josh Naylor hit a solo home run in the top of the eighth, making it 5-4 Seattle. Looked like the Guardians were coming back a little, but that's all she wrote, and they would not score after that. So a nice job by the Guardians to come back, but they didn't win, but still a nice job, I think, for this young team. So you would like to see them win next time, but nice job trying to get the comeback. Tristan McKenzie had a not great start, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run given up. Not great, but I think he's still going to be really good this season, and he's a guy I'm definitely watching. After that, for Seattle, we had Emerson Hancock have a really nice outing, going 5 1/3, giving up only 3 earned runs, a walk, a strikeout, and a home run. So not the best, but still pretty good in my opinion, and for a young guy who has a lot of potential like himself, I would be very encouraged if I was a Mariners fan. And the last game of the AL, we had Yankees Diamondbacks. Yes, an interleague game, but I think you can guess who won because I'm talking about it for the AL. So we had Oswaldo Cabrera in the top of the second, hitting an RBI, scoring Anthony Volpe, making it 1-0. Gleyber Torres then hit an RBI double, making it 2-0 New York. Volpe hit another RBI, making it 3-0. The on-base percentage leader in the AL, Volpe, so great start to the season by him. Austin Wells then hit a sacrifice fly, making it 5-0 after a throwing error by Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Ketel Marte tried to get some insurance back for the Diamondbacks, making it 5-1 on the sacrifice fly, and another one in the bottom of the seventh, but it was no match as the Yankees would end up winning 5-2. So a really strong time by the Yankees, really giving Ryan Nelson a hard day. 2 1/3 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. So really, really great start by the Yankees this season. Still undefeated, so I don't think you can ask for anything better than that. For the Yankees, they had Luis Gil on the mound, who just won the 5th starting spot in spring training, going 4 2/3 innings, giving up only an earned run. So really great start by him, and really great start for the Yankees overall in this season. So yeah, that is my first segment of the show today, recapping the AL games. We're going to go to a break here, but before that, we'll be showing you our second segment, which is going to be about recapping the NL games of yesterday, I should say. So yeah, we'll be talking about that in our second segment, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, see you then, bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. Really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show today. All right, so we just recapped AL games of yesterday. Today we'll be doing similar. Right now we're doing similar, and we'll be doing the NL games of yesterday. So yeah, let's get straight into that. All right, so the first game we have is Braves-White Sox. Yes, another in the league game, but I think you guys know the deal by now. So first, in the top of the third, we had Ronald Acuna Jr. grounding into a force out to a Yohan Moncada, scoring Travis d'Arnaud, making it 1-0 early for Atlanta. Orlando Arcia then in an RBI double, scoring 2 to make it 3-0 in the top of the fourth, Atlanta. Then a wild pitch by pitcher Brian Shaw to score Austin Riley, made it 4-0 Atlanta. Top of the sixth, then, we had Ozzie Albies hitting an RBI double to score Acuna to make it 5-0 Atlanta. Austin Riley then hit an RBI single to score Ozzie Albies in the same inning to make it 6-0. Top of the eighth, Austin Riley then blew the doors off of the joint with a 3-run homer, making it 9-0. His first one of the season, I might add, making it 9-0 Atlanta. So, no surprises here. The Braves are really, really good, and the White Sox are not, and I think that's pretty clear as why this game is a blowout. I don't think anyone's surprised about that. Charlie Morton in his first outing of the season was really, really solid, going 5 2/3, only giving up 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. Yes, it's against the White Sox, but any strong start is encouraging for Charlie Morton, who is on the older side, and you are kind of relying on to do a lot for this team, so I think that's really positive for them. After that, we have the White Sox pitching. Chris Flexen making one of his first starts for the White Sox. He went 4 1/3 innings, giving up 4 runs, 3 walks, 6 hits, having an 8.31 ERA on the day. Not great, but it's kind of expected when you have Chris Flexen in 2024 against the Braves lineup. I don't know why I said 2024, by the way. It's acting like Chris Flexen was ever good, because he's not. So, I mean, it's the White Sox, and you're playing the Braves, one of the better teams in the league. So, not really a big surprise here on how this ended up. So, yeah. After that, we had Cubs-Rockies in the bottom of the sixth to open up the scoring. Christopher Morel singled on a sharp ground ball to Nolan Jones, scoring Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki, and also Christopher Morel after a fielding error by Nolan Jones. So an inside the park home run, quote unquote, but more of an error. So it was exciting, but it was an error, so that's all it was. Cody Bellinger then hit an RBI single to score Mike Tauchman and Yan Gomes, to make it 5-0 Chicago, which is where the scoring would end. But I think mainly the real storyline here for this game is on the pitching side. Shota Imanaga has made his MLB debut today for the regular season, going 6 innings, giving up only 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks, no hits. No runs, I should say, sorry. And wow, was he impressive. He had a perfect game through 5, I believe. Was striking out people. His pitches were going really, really well. So a really, really strong debut here by Imanaga. I think this is what the Cubs could have asked for and more. So, yeah, a really, really strong start by him with all the question marks he had coming over to America. It's really nice that he started off on such a strong foot. And if I'm a Cubs fan, I'd be excited watching what he does next. So, yeah, great job by Imanaga to start his MLB career and having a really nice game. Nancy Altamonte and Drew Smiley were also nice out of the bullpen, which was a good job by the pen there and good bullpen management by new manager Craig Counsell. Dakota Hudson, starting for the Rockies, gave up 0 earned runs and 3 runs because of the error. So he really went 5 1/3 innings, giving up no earned runs, only walking 2, but only striking out 2. So a very interesting start by him. I don't think he's going to do much this season, not because of his ability, but because he plays for the Colorado Rockies, who are not known to be a pitcher's ballpark or a pitcher's organization. So, yeah, not really thinking he's going to do much this season, but still an okay start by him. Got unlucky with the fielding, of course, but that's going to happen when you play for the Rockies, who aren't very good. Going to Pittsburgh, Washington here. The Pirates are looking to remain undefeated this season. New addition Michael A. Taylor hit a sacrifice fly in the top of the second to make it 1-0. After that, we had Brian Reynolds grounding out to score a run. O'Neal Cruz to make it 2-0 Pittsburgh in the top of the second, so a nice start there. Lane Thomas hit an RBI single, scoring Victor Robles, trying to get them back on the board here, making it 2-1. Connor Joe then hit an RBI single to get some insurance for Pittsburgh, making it 3-1. Then after that, Riley Adams tied up the game in the bottom of the 7th with his first home run of the season, scoring Ildemaro Vargas. Connor Joe then hit another RBI, hitting a double to score Michael A. Taylor, making it 4-3 Pittsburgh. So a really nice job today by Connor Joe, and nice job to keep getting the runs going and get a lot of insurance. After that, we had Brian Hayes hitting more insurance, getting an RBI double, scoring Connor Joe to make it 5-3. Andrew McCutchen then hit an RBI single to score Brian Hayes, and then the Pirates blew the doors off with Brian Reynolds hitting an RBI double to score Michael A. Taylor and Alika Williams to make it 8-3 Pittsburgh. C.J. Abrams would then hit an RBI single to make it 8-4, but that was it for the game. Pirates remain undefeated and a really strong game by them. Yes, they haven't played great teams, but still a really, really strong start to the season by the Pirates. I don't think they're complaining at all. Mackenzie Gore started one of his first games of the season for the Nationals, going 5 1/3. Giving up 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and striking out 6. An okay start by him. Nothing to write home about, but nothing that was completely horrible. So I think it's good for him. Again, he is one of the young guys that Nationals fans are looking forward to in the future. A guy who is going to be really, really good for them, and I think is going to be a big part of that core going forward. So you want to see as much positive stuff you can going forward. So yeah, good job by him. Matt Barnes did not do great in one of his first games for the Nationals, so that's another thing. Mark Gonzalez in his first game for the Pirates went 5 innings, gave up 1 earned run, only struck out 2, but only walked 2. So now I've been talking about the Pirates pitching a lot and kept saying, how can you be competitive if Mark Gonzalez is throwing consistent innings for you? So good for him for proving me wrong a little bit. I'm still not very high on him, still not high in this Pirates pitching, but they're 5-0 right now. Mark Gonzalez was performing well, so I'm not going to really talk any trash about the Pirates right now because they're performing really, really well. And it's kind of all you can say. So, yeah, good job by them. So the next game we'll be talking about today is going to be Reds-Phillies, a battle of 2 red teams. In the bottom of the first, Alec Boehm opened up the scoring by making a 2-0 Philly, hitting an RBI double, scoring Kyle Schwarber and Trey Turner. After that, we had Christian Encarnacion Strand in the top of the 6th, getting them back in the game, hitting an RBI single, scoring Jonathan India. After that, Heimer Candelario tied up the game, scoring Spencer Steer on an RBI single to tie the game up at 2-2. Then in the top of the 10th, Spencer Steer blew the doors off the game. I've said that expression a lot, I feel like, so sorry about that, but it's exciting. So he hit a grand slam in the top of the 10th to make it 6-2 Cincinnati, scoring Bubba Thompson, Will Benson, and Jonathan India. So great job by him. Phillies tried to come back with a Trey Turner RBI single, but no, it was too late then. Reds already had all the momentum. So a really great job by Spencer Steer to fill in. I mean, you've had a lot of injuries so far. You've already lost Matt McClain. You've lost your other guys like Novelli Marte. So I think it's a really nice job by Spencer Steer to remind people of how good he is and remind people of how good this Reds team is. So, yeah, a really strong start to the season by them, being 3-1, and a really great job by Spencer Steer. Going over the pitching now, we had Abbott here for the Reds. Andrew Abbott, he went 5 in the third innings, giving up 2 earned runs, only walking 2 and striking out 4. So a pretty okay start to the season, nothing too special, but against a lineup like the Phillies, I think this is something you're always going to take. Emilio Pagan in his Reds debut only gave up 1 hit, which was nice, and Brent Suter as well did good. Actually, he didn't actually do good. Sorry, I read that score wrong, but yeah, he went a third inning and gave up 2 hits, so not a great start by him, but still I think it's going to be a valuable piece of this bullpen for the Reds going forward in the season. Christopher Sanchez had an okay start, going 5 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, striking out 8 and only walking 1, so that was good. So I think he's going to be a big part of this Phillies rotation going into the year, especially now with Taijuan Walker getting hurt. This is a guy that really has to step up for the Phillies if they want to be competitive, and I think starts like that will continue to be good. You don't need 7 innings, 1 earned run out of him because he's your 4 or 5. You need just okay innings like that where he pitches well and you need the hitting to keep going. So Again, like I said, you don't need the superstar outings by Sanchez, but you need good, solid outings, which is what you got here from him. So, yeah, good job there. After that, you had Connor Brogdon come in, and he was the one who gave up the grand slam to Spencer Steer. So, not a great job by him. One of the more notable Phillies relief arms. So, not a great start to the year for him, but, start of the season, so can't be too mad here. And not the last one. Next NL game we have is going to be Cardinals-Padres. Nolan Arenado in the top of the first hit an RBI double to open the scoring early, make it 1-0. We then had Wilson Contreras hit a 2-run home run, making it 3-0. So a really great start by the Cardinals early against the knuckleballer Matt Waldron. Paul Goldschmidt then in the top of the second hit an RBI single to make it 4-0 St. Louis. So again, just really, really hitting the knuckleballer Matt Waldron really, really well. So great job there. Jackson Merrill hit his first MLB home run, which is really exciting for Padres fans, making it 4-1. Brendan Donovan then hit a 2-run home run, scoring Mason Wynn to make it 6-1. And in the bottom of the 6th, Fernando Tatis Jr. hit his 3rd home run of the season, making it 6-2. But it was not enough to defeat the Cardinals, as they would end up winning 6-2. So not a great start for Matt Waldron, who is the team's 5 starter now, going 4 innings, giving up 4 earned runs, 9 hits, 1 walk, striking out 7. But giving up a home run and having a 9 ERA, so not great. Johnny Brito, who they got in the Soto trade, was also not great out of relief, going an inning, giving up 3 runs, giving up 3 hits and 2 runs, so not great there as well. So Padres definitely need to pick the pitching up if they want to be competitive. I think they will, but it's a matter of time now. Cardinals, you had Kyle Gibson going for them. I've talked a lot of crap about him, how bad I thought the signing was, but hey, he performed really, really well against an elite Padres lineup, going 7 innings, giving up only 2 earned runs. Only walking 2, only striking out 4. But hey, keep going 7 innings with only 2 runs. I don't think any Cardinals fan is going to be complaining. Ryan Helsley was great out the bullpen saving it. So was Jojo Romero. So, yeah, great job by the Cardinals to have a great pitching day as well as your hitting day. I've talked a lot about how their hitting is really going to have to overtake their pitching. But if their pitching keeps performing like that, I think they'll be a great team. I don't think it will, but still a great job by them to open one of their first games like that with that great pitching. We then had a very historic matchup here, the first Giants-Dodgers game of the year. Shohei Ohtani grounded out to Thairo Estrada to score the first run of the game, Mookie Betts, to make it 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Freddie Freeman then hit an RBI single, scoring Mookie Betts in the bottom of the third, making it 2-0. Will Smith hit a sacrifice fly to score Ohtani, making it 3-0 in the bottom of the third. Conforto tried getting some runs back for the Giants, hitting a solo home run in the top of the 6th. Teoscar Hernandez then really took the game in the Dodgers' direction, making it 6-1 with a 3-run home run, his 4th of the season. Off to an amazing start with the Dodgers because, of course, he is. It's the Dodgers. They do this. To make it 6-1, as I said, Wilmer Flores then hit a RBI single, scoring Lamont Wade, making it 6-2. But it would be no match for the Dodgers' overpowered lineup, who would then score 2 more runs with a Freddie Freeman RBI double and a Will Smith RBI single, making it 8-2. Jorge Soler would get a sacrifice fly in the top of the 9th, but the Dodgers would end up winning this division rival matchup 8-3. So, amazing job by the Dodgers. Again, when the Dodgers stars come through, no one can stop them in this league. So, I mean, really an incredible positive here by the Dodgers. So, yeah, a great game by them. A great job for their players to come through. So, yeah, nothing to really complain about here. So, yeah, those are the NL games of yesterday. that was the recap of it. Some really exciting moments happened. Of course, not really as exciting as the AL, where you had that great Mets-Tigers game, and then you had the Rino Blanco no-hitter for the Astros. A really great story again. So, yeah, still a good day for the NL. But that is our second segment here. We'll be going to a break, and we'll be talking about a third segment, which is about Josh Jung, his injury for the Texas Rangers, him being out for a little while, and how big of an impact that is going to have on the Texas Rangers. So, yeah, we talk about that. But first, we go on a break, and we'll see you after that. Thanks, bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment, which is going to be talking about Rangers third baseman Josh Jung and his fractured wrist and how that injury is going to affect the Rangers in the season. So, first of all, let's start off with how big of a deal is this for the Texas Rangers? If I'll be completely honest, it's a very big deal. Now, I don't really want to make it seem like all is over for the Rangers and that they're not winning the World Series again no matter what, but Josh Jung is a great player and a guy I think was going to play a big part of this Rangers lineup. Now, he was great last year in his first full season after being a top prospect for many years. Had a great start this year. We talked about in the AL game segment. He hit a lot of RBIs yesterday against the Rays, was really a big factor in that lineup, and losing him for what it seems like now is going to be 6 weeks is really, really tough. I think this guy was one of the hearts of your lineup, batting in the middle. Now, I think that is going to leave a big hole there, and it is a big deal. I think it's a big deal for the Rangers. I think that, again, he was a really great player, and the fact you are going to lose him now for 6 weeks in a really tough division is a big negative. So, is this a little less big of a deal? I should say that's not really like the right wording, but you get what I mean. Is this less of a big deal than other teams because the Rangers have so much lineup depth? Probably. They have still an incredible lineup. I mean, the sheer amount of talent they have is incredible. You have Jonah Heim, you have Nate Lowe when he gets back from injury, probably the best middle infield duo in the league, and Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. You now have Adolis Garcia, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Travis Jankowski's not even bad anymore. So the Rangers have such a sheer amount of lineup depth that they can live without one of their stars for a few weeks or so. But it's still a big deal because he still is a great player. I want to make that clear, that Josh Jung is still a great player and a guy that I was really looking forward to watching this upcoming season. I think is really, really good. And it does suck that he is going to be out for this year, for a little bit of this year. Again, I think he's a big part of what the Rangers do. A big part a big reason why they made the World Series last year as well. So losing him is not something to cough at, and again is a big negative here. Just looking at his season stats this year, only played in 4 games, but already had 2 home runs. Tied for the league lead in triples with 1, so that's nice. Had a 1.415 OPS. Obviously wasn't going to stay like that, but still was really, really great. Just was having a really great season, and it sucks that it's not going to go this far. I mean, he finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting last year. He had 23 home runs, 70 RBIs, a 781 OPS, an OPS plus of 109, so he was 9% above average. So, yeah, just is really, really a big negative here for the Rangers. Is a great young player, and you're not going to see him now for a little while. I think a lot of Rangers fans were betting on him being one of the future parts of this lineup, kind of being a big part of that core with him, Evan Carter, Wyatt Langford, and now you're not going to see him for a long time, which is really, really does suck. So I think when you're looking at Josh Jung right now, you look at his career, the big thing has been staying healthy. He's had such pedigree on him. Was a high prospect coming up. Was a top prospect, and he just really hasn't stayed healthy. Last year was good, but only played 122 games, so he missed 40. So I think that Rangers fans definitely were looking forward to seeing a full season of him, and the fact that you don't now is a negative. Again, it's not a huge deal because of the lineup depth the Rangers have, but still, that you want to see this guy play to his full potential. You want to see him play this whole year, and the fact you aren't gonna is really, really bad, and is honestly a big negative for them. And would suck if I was a Rangers fan, believe me. But they do have some replacements on the roster now first, so we'll talk about those guys. First, you have Ezekiel Duran, who was the starting outfielder for the Rangers during that World Series run. Duran is a super utility guy who hits really, really well, is a above-average hitter, definitely plays good defense, and can definitely fill in a third. I think Duran's mainly an outfielder. That's where I would mainly classify him as. But as I said before, he is a super utility guy. He is a guy that plays all around the diamond, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers try to stick him here. I think he's a great player and would be a very good addition to this lineup again, and would be a very good way of replicating Josh Young's value. So yeah, I think he's definitely a big candidate here. I saw some Rangers fans talking about him on social media as well, so I definitely think he makes a lot of sense. Next, we have Josh Smith, the prospect for the Rangers. Now, Josh Smith is one of the big guys to come back in the famed, or I should say infamous now, Joey Votto trade from the Yankees a few years ago. Is a sweet swinging lefty prospect, great hair as well, so that adds to his talent, because great hair in baseball, you're always going to be good. So yeah, he's done pretty well so far in a small sample size in the big leagues. He can play third base to a high level. He's a good defender, good lefty bat. So I think Josh Smith is definitely a guy that could fill in for Josh Young. Get a Josh to fill in for a Josh. Again, is a really positive guy with value worth, I should say. Sorry. And I think would be a good addition to this Rangers lineup. Now, again, has not been great in his cup of tea in the big leagues, having a 633 OPS, 73 OPS plus, so not great. But again, good lefty, top prospect with the Yankees and top prospect with the Rangers. I think if you give him a good amount of time to develop at the position and be able to get a consistent rhythm and play a lot of third base, he could be a really big positive for them, and he could be a really good player. So I look at Josh Smith as another guy who could potentially fill in for Josh Young, and the spot he is now leaving with him being injured with his fractured wrist, again out 6 weeks. So it's not end-all be-all, but I think filling in a younger guy like Josh Smith, seeing what he's got, I think definitely would be a positive to this Rangers team. After that, they just called up number 5 prospect in their organization, Justin Fausk, who is another guy I'd look towards as a potential fill-in for Josh Young. Fausk is 25, but was a former top first-round pick for the Rangers, and a guy I've known about in their system for a long time. Hasn't really gotten consistent opportunities before this, but I think could be a big positive for the Rangers, and could be a guy that plays really well for them. Yeah, is about to make his MLB debut, which is really nice. Good for him. Again, it was the 14th overall pick in 2020. 25, born in Huntsville, Alabama. So he did really well in the minor leagues, having an 800 to 900 OPS in the last 2 seasons in Double and Triple A. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what Fausk does with the Rangers here, how well he can fill in for Josh Young, and how well he does play. Again, I think this is a guy who is going to be a very good player. Another part of this young Rangers core, which is just insane. I mean, man, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Josh Young, and now you're calling up Justin Fausk. Like, so many great young hitters, and that's not even talking about the guys already on their roster who are young, like Corey Seager, like Jonah Heim, like Nathaniel Lowe. So, yeah, just an incredible young hitting core for the Rangers. But I think Fausk can definitely be a positive here, fill in for Josh Young pretty well, and overall could be a good player for them. They just did call him up for this, making his own debut soon, I'd assume. So, yeah, I'd assume they are going to be playing him, but we'll see what happens with that. So we'll see if he does playing or rides the bench, trying to be a platoon player. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the plan is with Faust and see what the Rangers do end up doing here. So those are the three people I think could potentially replace Josh Jung in the lineup. Again, I don't know if you can really replace a guy of that talent. Again, didn't do great his first year. He was pretty good, finished 4th in Rookie of the Year, but had a great start to the season this year. Has such a great swing, is such an overall good player that I think any Rangers fan was really looking forward to watching a full season of him. So it really is unfortunate that they won't be able to, but hopefully one of these guys coming up and playing well would be good. So, yeah. Going over to Rangers' outlook here, I still think their biggest problem is pitching. I like the Michael Lorenzen move. I think it was a wise move to add before the season started. A late move for them. I think a good buy low add. A guy you're only giving $4 million a year for this year as well. I think was a good addition in the back end. But right now, still the pitching is worrisome to me. John Gray, Andrew Heaney, Nathan Eovaldi. Those are just not guys I want to be at the top of my rotation, coming off a World Series year and being in the division with teams like the Mariners, like the Astros. So I still think that's their biggest problem. But again, as I've said, as long as they can be afloat until guys like DeGrom, Scherzer, Tyler Mahle get back, I think that they're going to be okay. I had them in the playoffs in my original playoff prediction video, and I'm not changing that up still. I still think they will. The main reason I think is because just their lineup is so incredible. I mean, again, the sheer amount of talent there is, and then you add Wyatt Langford is honestly just insane. I really cannot describe how amazing this lineup is for Texas, and that is the reason I do have them as a playoff team currently, and I don't think that'll change. I mean, I don't plan on doing another playoff prediction video unless a major move happens or until the All-Star break. So, yeah, that's really it. But, yeah, overall, and it is sad that Josh Jung getting hurt, but the Rangers still have a great hitting core, great team, and a team I think will make the playoffs. So, yeah, that's really what you want to look out for the Rangers right now, and just see how this team stays afloat after the Josh Jung injury. So, yeah, really all you can ask for, and really all you can hope for if you are a Rangers fan, that the team is good, and that they can stay afloat as this injury happened. I think once you get all the injured players back, as I said, DeGrom, Scherzer, Tyler Mahle, and adding Josh Jung to that, also adding Nathaniel Lowe to that, who I even forgot, I think you're going to be a much better team. So as long as the Rangers are good in the first half, I think the second half will be very positive to them, and I think they'll be competing for the World Series once again. Again, I think this AL West is honestly pretty wide open right now with the Astros struggles. The Mariners are a good team, but I don't know if they're ready to take the step and take the AL West from the Astros. So I think it's going to be really competitive watching this AL West, maybe the first time in a little while, seeing what can happen with the Astros, with the Rangers, with the Mariners all in one division. So, yeah, it's going to be really exciting to watch and really fun to see what does end up happening with this. So, yeah. All right, that was my third segment, talking about the Rangers third baseman Josh Jung and him getting hurt. We'll be going to our fourth segment here, which is going to be talking about Mike Clevinger, one of the last big remaining free agents on the market, going back to the White Sox. An interesting move here, and we'll definitely talk about it, my thoughts on it, and the effect it will have on the White Sox and the teams that lost out on Clevinger. So, yeah, we'll be taking a break. We'll be going to that for our fourth and final segment. So, yeah, see you after that. Bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment today, which is going to be talking about one of the last big free agents on the market, Mike Clevinger, and him re-signing with his old team, the Chicago White Sox. Now, this was a one-year deal worth $3 million, according to Robert Murray of Fansided, which other people have backed up. There's $3 million in incentives as well, so assuming Clevenger does play well, he will be a one-year $6 million deal. Now, this deal is really interesting on a lot of levels. First of all, he declined a $12 million option from the same team at the start of the offseason, so he just cost himself $6 to $9 million depending on how he plays, so not great there. It's also interesting that he went back to the White Sox after he had such a turmoil year there, with him, first of all, being just okay, the White Sox being horrible, and the domestic violence allegations that came up on him. There was no suspension, but he did have to go to counseling, apparently, or some kind of therapy thing. So there was obviously something they found there. So there's definitely definitely an off-the-field situation with Mike Clevenger. I don't really want to go in further on that because I don't know enough of the details, but it did not look good of the things that the person accusing him said. So not great. But so I think that could have affected his market and why he had to settle for a one-year $6 million deal and go back to the White Sox, who frankly aren't that good, and I don't know why they're making moves like this. So I think he might have overestimated his market, and I think that was proven here now with the $1 year, $3 million deal, when he could have accepted his option, could have gotten way more. So my overall thoughts on this deal, first of all, from Clevenger's perspective, again, it is very puzzling. I don't know why he went back to the White Sox, who are bad. I understand that he didn't maybe have any options, but at least go to a team that could win, I guess. Like, there's really only two teams. There's only one team in the league I'd probably have worse than the White Sox, with the A's, and I don't think the A's would have signed Clevenger anyway because they're cheap. So there wasn't any other team that you wanted to go to or you could have gone to. Was there really only one team in your market? I mean, I know he's off-field stuff, but that's still kind of perplexing. So now for the White Sox, this doesn't make sense, and it makes sense on a few levels. Now, first, it makes sense because they needed another starting pitcher after the Dylan Cease trade. It was reported that they were in talks with Michael Lorenzen for a contract as they were talking about a Dylan Cease trade at the same time. Lorenzen obviously ended up going to a different AL team in the Rangers, so they didn't end up landing him. So it does make sense they got Clevenger to fill in that spot that Cease left. So I think that does make sense. But overall, just thoughts other than that. I mean, it's strange why the White Sox are making this move now. They aren't a good team whatsoever. I mean, at all. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy by saying that. And the White Sox are signing a veteran guy with some off-the-field issues that I don't know how much he can get at the deadline. I mean, he had a 3.7 ERA last year. Assuming he has that again, what are you going to get? Some team's 17th ranked prospect who's like 24 years old. So I just not a fan of the move for the White Sox. I don't think it was that great, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I understand that maybe they just wanted another pitcher to fill in their rotation with the Dylan Cease trade and think they could potentially get something for him at the deadline, but who's he really going to fill in? Chris Flexen? I don't understand why you couldn't just have Flexen in there if you're going to be bad anyways. Might as well try to tank and get the highest lottery odds you can, right? I mean, that would be my opinion. So I'm not really a big fan of this move for the White Sox. It's surprising to me as well, again, that the fact that he went back there, the White Sox took him back, and he didn't have any other options. So it was very strange to me, and I'm still, again, I think it's a surprising move that happened. So I think you add him to the players at the deadline who could be traded as a pitcher now, especially. I think he's definitely a prime trade candidate. Teams are going to look out for if they do feel comfortable with him off the field. Adding him to, I'd say, the biggest pitcher who we all believe is going to be traded at the deadline, which is Shane Bieber. I think add him now to that, his former teammate as well. So he definitely is going to be in trade deadline conversations when we do get up to that point. I've already done a trade deadline segment like around a month ago, but I'll do one as we get closer to that. I mean, the season just started, so we're not even close, but yeah. So now, one thing I'm surprised with is a lot of other teams who needed pitching didn't go for Clevenger. That's something that does surprise me, to be perfectly honest. First of all, I would look at a team like the Pirates. I've talked many times now, and I talked about this episode, how I think the Pirates need pitching help. And I think Clevenger, especially at this price, would have been a great add for them. Again, I want to make this all clear. I don't know what they feel about him as a character, but just baseball-wise here, I think the Pirates would have made a lot of sense. I definitely think he's an upgrade over Bailey Falter. I mean, if you're trying to compete, who would you rather have in the rotation? Mike Clevenger or Bailey Falter? I think I know my answer pretty clearly there. So I'm surprised a team like the Pirates didn't go after him with him only getting 1 year, $3 million. You could have offered him 1 year, $5 million with the same amount of incentives. I think that would have been fine. Some other teams I think could have potentially been interested in Clevenger's services. First of all were the Cardinals. I would definitely have Clevenger over Steven Matz, probably in that 5 spot of the rotation. Now, you do have some younger guys coming up potentially soon, like Gordon Graceffo and Tink Hence, so I don't know how Clevenger or a signing of Clevenger would potentially affect that, but I think he would have made the Cardinals a lot better as well, and I think it would have added another level of pitching depth they just don't have right now, so I think that would have been a nice addition for the Cardinals. Also, I think the Mets could have looked into him as well. They are also talking to Julio Teheran, so maybe they're focused on him right now. They've had some pitching injuries already. You had Senga get hurt, and then his replacement, Tyler McGill, just got placed in the 15-day IL, so the Mets definitely need some more starting pitching depth right now, and it was kind of surprising they weren't mentioning Clevenger. As a Mets fan, I didn't really want him, but I still think he would have made sense, and I still think there could have potentially been a fit there, so that is surprising to me as well. I think the Phillies would have also made a lot of sense for Clevenger with them losing Taijuan Walker. I think he could potentially be a big fit in the back end of that rotation if they were trying to compete. And then once Walker does come back, Clevenger can move to a swingman role or be just good depth or be traded again. So I think there are some teams that I think could have been interested in Clevenger. So it is surprising to me that he did end up going back to the lowly White Sox out of all teams. I also think the Red Sox could have been interested with the injuries they've had. The Orioles, I think those teams all could have been interested, but they obviously weren't, so there could be something we're missing here about Clevenger and why teams just weren't that interested. I thought he was one of the better rotation arms left in the market, one of the better guys left in the market in general, so again, it is surprising that he went back to the White Sox. I guess it could be potentially that he wanted to guarantee a starting role for him, and on these other teams who have more short-term injuries, I think that he might have been a starter for a little bit, but then would have been bumped to the rotation or to just the depth pool in general. And with the White Sox, who are not good, who need a lot of pitching, Clevenger would have definitely helped them and would have definitely been a big positive to them. So I think that going to the White Sox guarantees him a starting role, and that is probably the only reason it makes sense. And he probably wanted a starting role, get his value back up, and show teams that he is still a good starting pitcher. He got traded for a lot at the 2020 deadline to San Diego, so obviously has a great track record and could have potentially been a big fit for teams after that. Now, just looking at the last big free agents left in the market, really the big one left is Tommy Pham. I've talked a lot about Pham on this show, but I still am really just weirded out by why he hasn't signed yet. I mean, so many teams could use Pham's services. First of all, the Padres. If I'm the Padres, I'd have Pham signed a week ago. You don't have outfield depth at all. I don't want Jose Azocar or Jurickson Profar starting in that lineup. And getting Tommy Pham would give you another element to that lineup, make you so much deeper. And I really think that would have been a positive for them. I mean, right now you have Merrill, you have Tatis, and you have Profar in that outfield. I guess you have Manny Machado as DH with him recovering from injury, but once he's healthy, you can move him to back to third base. You then have Jose Azocar moving to fourth outfield, sign Tommy Pham making the starting DH. That's a great move in my opinion. That lineup becomes so much deeper. The only light spot there would be the 9 batter who would be Jurickson Profar, and you can always trade for a center fielder. You can always trade for a corner outfielder. So I am still really. It is just strange to me that Tommy Pham is still out there on the market and is still not signed with anyone. And Clevenger being one of the big last 2 free agents left with him and Pham, it does make me wonder what is going on with this market. Do teams really hold that whole Jock Peterson thing against him this long now? I don't know, but that could potentially be a thing. Do they think he's asking for too much? That could also be it. Do they think he's old and they don't really want an older player like that? I don't know. I mean, he still hits really well in my opinion. He's still a positive player and still a player that can make a big impact to any team. So, yeah, definitely a little strange as to why Pham has not been signed yet. I think the Padres are the team that comes to mind a lot. I think they make a lot of sense for him. I think he could potentially go back to the Diamondbacks if they would like to have him. I think some other teams that could use him as well could be the Reds, who could use some more outfield depth. I think potentially the Marlins could. I also think some other teams that could use him could be the Rays or the Blue Jays, but again, no team has signed him yet for some odd reason, and we'll never really know why that is. I think it could have something to do with off-the-field stuff. Maybe the Jock Peterson stuff is coming back to haunt him, or maybe he's just asking for too much, but still perplexing as to why he has not been signed. So I wanted to mention him with the Clevenger stuff because, again, as I said, both were the main two free agents left in the market, and the fact that Clevenger has gone off the board and Pham hasn't is very strange to me. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. So that is our show today. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, thank you for subscribing, listening, donating, all that. You can find us anywhere. You can get content: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Again, for content and updates. Thank you again for watching. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.